The world was young and restless. Volcanoes rumbled like ancient drums, continents split like cracked eggshells, and the Triassic sky shimmered with a strange anticipation. Something was coming, something the Earth had never seen before. But before we speak of wings stretching across prehistoric heavens, we must begin with the ground beneath them. For the story of pterosaurs, the so-called pterodactyls, doesn't start in the sky. No, it begins deep in the shadows of the archosaurs, the mighty ruling reptiles whose lineage split in two fateful directions. One line would evolve into the thunderous dinosaurs, the rulers of land. The second line, smaller, stranger, more experimental, would one day rise into the air. On the banks of a shallow Triassic lagoon, sunlight shimmered on ripples as strange creatures scurried across wet sand. Early archosaur relatives darted among reeds, their long fingers clutching insects, their bodies jerking in sharp motions. They were small, barely larger than house cats, yet something about them seemed almost restless. These early reptiles with elongated limbs and lightweight bones were unlike the bulky land giants taking shape far away. Their bodies hinted at something new, something that would change Earth forever, something that would break the boundaries of evolution. As the sun dipped behind jagged cliffs, these small reptiles sought shelter among rocky crevices. They chirped, hissed, and tapped their claws nervously, for they could sense sprinters near, fast early dinosauromorphs, keen-eyed, hungry, waiting for darkness. One of the little archosaur cousins leapt, not a flight, not yet, but a desperate, powerful jump that carried it farther than any reptile of its size should travel. It spread its long fingers wide, longer than normal, longer than natural, and the wind caught its skin. It glided. Just a second, just a heartbeat, then it crashed into a shrub. But evolution had noticed, and it would not forget. The archosaur family tree was beginning to split. One branch reached toward powerful legs and massive bodies, the dinosaurs. The other stretched towards the sky. The lagoon grew darker. A warm wind blew over the surface, and somewhere between reeds and rocky ledges, the earliest whisper of wings rustled for the very first time.
Time surged forward, tens of millions of years collapsing like waves as evolution sculpted new forms. The sky grew busier, hotter, filled with insects drifting on warm currents. Opportunity called from above, and the reptiles who once leapt from rock to rock felt its pull. Then, one astonishing day in the late Triassic, Earth witnessed something unbelievable. A creature perched on a jagged cliff, tiny yet elegant. Its limbs were long and thin, its eyes enormous and reflective like polished black stones. But the most striking feature was its fourth finger, so absurdly long it seemed almost impossible. A membrane stretched from it, thin as silk yet strong as woven leather. This was Pterosaurus, one of the earliest true pterosaurs. It didn't walk like the dinosaurs, it didn't roar like them, it didn't stomp. It tiptoed, clawed, climbed and clung to cliff faces with uncanny skill. The sun warmed its wings, winds blew from the valley below. It leaned forward, trembling, unsure. Then it jumped. Its wings caught the air with a sudden whoosh, an explosion of new physics. It glided in a widening spiral, wobbling, shaking, but flying nonetheless. Flying. The first vertebrate on Earth to achieve true powered flight wasn't a bird, wasn't a bat, but this slender little reptile born of archosaur heritage, distant cousin to dinosaurs, yet already so different from them. The world looked astonishing from above. Forests stretched endlessly. Rivers glinted like silver snakes. Vast herds of early reptiles ambered through ferns far below. The skies belonged to no creature until now. Over the next millions of years, pterosaurs flourished. They grew more diverse, more specialized, more daring. Their wings strengthened, tails stiffened for balance. Some developed sharp beaks, others soft snouts for catching insects. Some skimmed the oceans, others perched on cliff edges. But one thing they did not become was dinosaurs. Though related through Archosaur ancestry, they had diverged too far too early. Their bones, joints, skulls and wing structures were utterly different. They were a separate dynasty, a kingdom of air among a world of giants.
Millions of years slipped by like drifting clouds. Earth entered the Jurassic period, lush, warm, alive with thunderous footsteps of dinosaurs rising to dominance. Yet above the earth-shaking roars, another empire blossomed silently. The skies were no longer empty. They were vibrant, alive, filled with strange shapes swooping and gliding effortlessly over forests and oceans. The pterosaurs had grown. Some, like Dimorphodon, zipped between trees with acrobatic grace, their wings whistling as they folded and twisted. They had sharp teeth, vibrant crests, and mischievous eyes. Others, like Rhamphorhynchus, soared over sparkling lagoons, their long tails ending in diamond-shaped veins that stabilized their flight. They skimmed the water for fish, leaving silver trails in their wake. Pterosaurs became sky lords, masters of a realm the dinosaurs could only watch from below with envy. Yet from the ground, the world seemed full of confusion and fear. Dinosaurs, towering and fierce, glanced upward at shadows dancing across the sun. Velociraptors snapped their heads toward the flapping silhouettes. Sauropods lifted their long necks, blinking curiously as creatures sailed overhead. But dinosaurs were purely land dwellers. Their arms were too short, their bodies too heavy, their bones too dense. They would never own the sky. That sky belonged to the pterosaurs. Their wings were wonders of biological engineering. Hollow bones reinforced with ridges, muscles stretching from shoulders to ankles, and membranes filled with fibers that could tighten or loosen to suit the winds. As storms raged, they rode the chaotic winds with mastery. As calm days arrived, they glided effortlessly for hours, barely moving their wings. Their world smelled of salt water, sap, and blooming Jurassic flora. It glowed with golden sunsets, violent storms, and endless blue horizons. It felt enormous, limitless, eternal. And yet, something new was stirring far away. Something that would one day challenge their aerial throne. But for now, the Sky Lords ruled unquestioned. The Cretaceous period dawned like a golden age for pterosaurs. Everything grew larger, stranger, more dramatic. The land teemed with giant dinosaurs, Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus, Ankylosaurus. Yet above them soared creatures even more incredible. At the zenith of evolution came a monster of the skies, a being so massive it challenged our imagination. Quetzalcoatlus northropi, the largest flying creature Earth has ever known. It stood as tall as a giraffe when on the ground. Its wings stretched longer than a small aeroplane. Its beak was sharp and long, built for stabbing prey. Its skull was thin and light, its body perfectly engineered for soaring across continents. When Quetzalcoatlus took off, the ground shook. It launched using all four limbs, leaping into the air with a force that defied logic. Once airborne, it hardly needed to flap its wings. It glided for hours, days, carried by warm thermals rising from lakes and plains. Below it, herds of dinosaurs moved like drifting shadows. But this giant of the skies barely noticed them. It hunted smaller animals, scavenged carrion, and occasionally plucked prey from riverbanks. Yet, for all its majesty, the pterosaur empire was beginning to crack. New shapes filled the skies, small, feathered creatures with beaks and compact wings. Birds! Their feathers gave them agility that pterosaurs could not match. Their skeletons were evolving rapidly. Their evolution was accelerating. They didn't dominate yet, not even close, but their presence was undeniable. Still, pterosaurs were not threatened. Not yet. Their size, diversity and experience kept them atop the aerial world. But evolution never sleeps, and the world was changing.
Time marches without mercy, and the Cretaceous world was marching towards something catastrophic. The skies grew stormy, seasons changed, volcanic activity intensified. New flowering plants altered ecosystems, reshaping food chains. Birds diversified, becoming faster, lighter, more adaptable. Pterosaurs, though still magnificent, began to decline. Their sizes grew enormous, but enormous creatures are fragile when the world grows unstable. Food shortages became common. Coastal regions shifted. Inland forests spread. Competition sharpened. Even their young faced new predators. Small mammals, agile raptors, even other birds. Still, they endured. Pteranodon soared over crashing waves, its toothless beak slicing the wind. Tupuksuara displayed brilliant head crests as it circled its nesting grounds. Nyctosaurus pointed its bizarre antler-like crest toward the sky like a living spear. But deep in the cosmos, a threat raced toward Earth. A threat no creature, winged or walking, could escape. And then, one day, a streak of fire carved across the sky. The asteroid struck with a force that outshone the sun. The earth shook violently, forests ignited instantly, oceans boiled along their shores. The sky filled with ash, choking sunlight for years. Pterosaurs, masters of the air, were the first to suffer. They depended on abundant food. They needed wide spaces, warm winds, predictable climate. The post-impact world offered none of that. Their vast wings became a burden, their specialized lifestyles a trap. One by one, species vanished. Not because they were weak, but because the world they had mastered had vanished. The last pterosaur glided over an ashen sea, searching desperately for food, warmth, hope. There was none. Its shadow rippled over dying waves, and then it was gone. The sky grew quiet.
The pterosaurs were gone, entirely, completely. But the skies were not empty. In the chaos of destruction, one lineage survived: the birds. Small, feathered, versatile, adaptable. They were not pterosaurs. They were not close relatives. They were the children of dinosaurs, not archosaurs' winged cousins. But they inherited the sky. They rebuilt what was lost, slowly, silently, feather by feather. Millions of years later, birds of every shape and color filled our modern world. Hummingbirds hovered like living jewels. Eagles soared like kings. Seagulls screamed over oceans. Owls glided through moonlit forests. They carry no blood of pterosaurs, no wing bones of pterosaurs, no DNA of pterosaurs. Yet, whenever a bird launches into the sky, bold, wild, unstoppable, it echoes a legacy that began long before birds even existed. The legacy of the first creatures who dared to leap, glide, and fly. The pterosaurs. Not dinosaurs, not birds, but the world's first sky rulers who opened the heavens for all who would follow. And the next time you see a bird swell its wings and take flight, remember, it is performing an ancient miracle. A miracle first mastered 220 million years ago by the forgotten titans of the wind.